Hello everyone. Today, in a supplemental video to the handout or PDF download from class, I'm going to show about the method that I'm using in order to shoot photographs for the web of artwork. This also works for non-web usage such as printing, but you have to have a high resolution camera in order to do really good shots for print. Our concern is the web at this point, so I'm just going to show you the down and dirty details. I have a little pencil sketch of camera setup, and you'll notice the camera is set in 90 degrees to the artwork that's laying flat either on the wall, or if you're able to shoot from above. Some people like to shoot in a photo setup where two lights would be mounted on either side at 45 degrees and the camera at 90 degrees, and they shoot. You're washing it with even lighting from the left and from the right. If you don't have that kind of setup, I also can shoot often in early morning. I take my pieces outside my studio. I catch the low ambient light. There's no direct sun burning holes on my canvases, and I'm able to shoot my artwork that way. Very well lit. It's a very nice light. So you shoot your artwork like this. In our worst case scenario, we don't have this option. We don't have the lights. We only have our camera, and perhaps we're in a gallery situation where we've got this one piece of artwork. It's needed for another show somewhere else, but you don't have a photograph of it. What are you going to do? Well, you go down to the gallery, and hopefully it's well lit from the spotlights, but in this situation it's not. So you're stuck with hot spots from various spotlights, or maybe even a big washing glare coming in from the side, having to because it's too close to the window, the street window. So in that situation, I take my camera and I go off to the side to an angle, and if you look here, this is my viewfinder. The image is on a bias in the picture, and a bias just means that it's a trapezoid or a rhombus at this point. It's not a straight-on rectangle that's the optimal, the least distortion is what you want. However, in this situation, because of the hot spots or glare that's going on, and let's say you work very textured painting, you need to somehow do away with that. So I tend to move to the side until the glare is gone, and I click. I take a picture. I move to the side until the hot spot disappears. Now, how am I going to take this distorted piece and make it look right? Well, we have the ability, with the advent of the tape measure, to get the correct measurements of this prior to going back to the studio and doing the art, changing the artwork. So beneath both of these drawings, shrink. This is a piece out of my sketchbook of Chinatown, and it's in sepia. It's very wiggly, so you see I've got clamps holding it flat. There are some hot spots, but this is a secondary. I'm just using this for illustration, for class illustration. So I found that this piece is 10 3/4 inches by 13 5/8. 10 3/4 wide, 13 5/8 high. Now, that number is a valid number, and it's we can easily get a ratio from that. However, for the math used in Photoshop, I'm going to change that to centimeters. So that ends up being 27 centimeters by 34 and 0.5 centimeters. And why is that important? Well, it's because I'm going to use something called a fixed aspect ratio. And the fixed aspect ratio will be 27 to 34.5. What does that mean to me? Well, our first action within Photoshop. Now I'm working in Photoshop CS2. However, the class I believe is in 5.5, but this is still valid. It's the steps that you're going to need to take to make this a usable image. I click on the background layer, and whoops, off my screen here. I have two screens, so I have things popping up on both sides. So within Photoshop, it asks me, well, what do you want to name this layer? Since you double clicked it, it means that you want to change the name. So I'll just say layer 0, and that's fine. As you see, it changes to layer 0. And then, as you know, we have our rulers on the sides. If you don't have the rulers, you do Command R, as in Robert, to gain your rulers. And I pull out a ruler, a guideline, to the point where the least amount of image intersects the edge. Then I go to the top, and I'll do the same. I intersect. And with these two, I make my jump over to the rectangle marquee tool. And this tool has options at our top edge here. Rather than normal, I want to go to fixed aspect ratio. And I'm going to key in the numbers 27, 2, 7, and 34.5. 34.5. And I go to the upper left corner of my two intersecting guides, and I draw out a box. Now the box will, no matter how much I try to go horizontal or vertical, it will always stay in fixed aspect ratio of 34.5 to 27. So I'm going fairly low on the screen because I want this to be as large as I can get. Whoops, I just lost it because I let go. Draw it all the way to the bottom as best we can and let go. And if you see, we have our marching ants going around. Now I go back to my selection tool, grab another guide and drop it at the furthest end of the vertical guide and go down to the horizontal guide edge. And now I use Command D as in David, and I deselect that region. Now, what did that do? Well, what it did is it gave me perfect guides at the correct ratio of my original drawing. And from that, I can go into, now my toolbar is on the screen. However, my menus are off the screen on my other monitor. So, but I can easily walk you through it. You go to File, go to Edit, Transform, Distort. Now, I'm actually going to shrink my image screen by hitting Command minus so that it's smaller and you can use the tools a little better. So from here I have the little handholds, little boxes in each corner, in the middle, of the top, the bottom, and the sides. I want these paper edges to be as close to vertical and horizontal as I can, while keeping my reference corner where it belongs. So I'm going to stretch the corner and scooch it in a little bit at the bottom, scooch it in on the other side at the bottom, and notice my reference corner has moved because of the distortion that's being created. So I want to pull it right back out to where it belongs. And again. So you notice there's barrel distortion going on here. I know I'm going to lose some of that. Whoops, the whole thing shifted. I know I'm going to lose some of that artwork here, but that's okay. It is a sketch, and I can deal with it. There's not so much detail up there that it doesn't matter. And I look at the bottom, and you notice I have my little tools here coming on the edges. Well, that's okay. I'll use a clone tool and clone those out. I want to get it dead on if I can. And the important thing here is grandma looking out of the window, not so much this little roof line up here. So I'm cool with this. And I change to my select tool, and up on the other screen, here we go, it says apply the transformation, and I say yes, please apply. And immediately I'm back to layer 0 with my newly undistorted image in the screen. And from here I just use my crop tool and go to the inside edge of my guidelines to the outside edges and double click. Pop. Hit plus to enlarge, and now I can go in and clean up these little pieces up here with my clone tool, perhaps. I have to hit Alt to pick up clone source and just scrub it out. Down here I'm going to do the same. Scrub it out. Gone. Looks good. That's what I wanted.